morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are so honored to have you this evening and appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Today, we are discussing money matters. My name is Grace Nzula. I am a trainer and HR consultant with Atara Solutions and a HR consulting firm and a manager at Panesa's Training Institute, a carpentry school. Get It Right with Atara Solutions is a platform where we demystify issues to do with entrepreneurship and employment. We are in partnership with Zalego Academy, a software development and capacity building academy. The Zalego Academy trains young people and in IT and software and develops softwares that solve your IT issues. And we are so happy that we're in partnership with them. They are hosting us actually. This is our 14th webinar. We started with how to register your business legally. And last week we were discussing becoming an entrepreneur. If you missed any of our sessions, please visit the Atara Solutions YouTube channel. I repeat, Atara Solutions YouTube channel to catch up, and while at it, kindly subscribe and click on the notification button. Next week, we shall be discussing a very, very important subject, something that is affecting us currently, on using social media to grow your brand and close sales, otherwise known as selling on social media. Allow me to share some facts. Did you know that 22% of businesses that start fail within the first year, 30% in the second year, 50% in the fifth year, and 70% do not see their 10th anniversary. And this was it's very sad. And this is the narrative that Atara Solutions, Get It Right with Atara Solutions is trying to change. There was research done by Enwealth Financial Services in partnership with Strathmore and IHRM. They found out that only 1 in 7 working Kenyans is fully confident about their financial well-being after retirement. 58% of Kenyans intend to retire after hitting 60. The majority of these Kenyans are not prepared or ready to think about retirement as we speak. I found this quite shocking. It is an honor and a privilege to introduce our speaker to this evening, Mr. Fred Waswa. He is the founder and group chief executive of Octagon Africa Financial Services Limited, a firm that specializes in pension scheme administration and consultancy, insurance broking, and training. They have spread their wings beyond Kenya. He is a seasoned pension expert with over 29 years of experience, with 20 years of those being in senior management positions. Hey, Fred. Wow, you have quite the CV, don't you? We invite you, our audience, to ask questions and we will answer as many as possible. George Foreman said, "The question is not at what age I want to retire, it is at what income." Fred, how true is this?
Grace, it is 100% true. You know.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You want me to jump in?
Yeah. Please introduce yourself and go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure this evening to basically have an opportunity to speak on Atara Solutions platform about you actually retired before you started working. That is the subject. And maybe just starting from where Grace has just stopped, you look forward to retirement, and retirement is about enjoying your only time you have for yourself, because in most cases, the first part of your life, somebody lives for you. You are a child, your parent are driving your life until you get to about age 20, 25. You start driving your life, and that particular time you start living for others, and that's your family. You start living for your children, you start living for your parents. At 55, around 60 years in this country, that's the time you actually live for yourself. So the money belongs to you. So you are supposed to understand, to decide, what do I need to do with my money at this particular moment? Do I just go for a holiday, permanent holiday, until I die and I'm gone? Or do I want, as Kenyans are, buy all the fields that you have and build all the buildings that you want and get all the rents that you want and die? So you have all the opportunity to make a decision at that particular time. But as Grace has mentioned, it is the money that decides, not necessarily the time that you retire. because you can reach 60 and you don't have much money to live on. What happens? You look for a job. We have seen people in retirement. I mean, people who leave retirement from one building, they are accountants from one building, and the next morning they become askaris, in the next building, because they cannot go home. They cannot be able to pack up and move because they need an income at that particular time. They don't have enough money to live on at that particular time. So then where do we get this money to live on? And that's when I start discovering that money must start being created from day one, the day you start working. The day you start living for others, you must start living for yourself in retirement at the same time. So the part of your income must be money that should be set aside for your day that when you are not able to make that very particular money. And that's at retirement, which is very critical. So one of the things that I always, when I discuss about personal finance, I break people's lives and working life into 10 3-year periods. 10 3-year periods. So period number 1 is 25 to 35. Period number 2 is 35 to 45. And period number 3 is 45 to the age of 60, around 55, 60. Now, that is the maximum that you can be able to get out of your body. That is the maximum you can be able to get out of your brains. Anything beyond that, you are stretching your life, So what happens is that in the first 10 years of your life, what you're supposed to be doing is asking yourself, how much money am I making now? And how much of that am I setting aside for that very particular day when I will not be able to work? Now, most young people, and when I'm talking to especially us in Africa, I know that 75% of the people I'm talking to today are below the age of 30. And that population, which I have in my office, that population will always tell me, Fred, why are you talking about pension now? I have 40 years to go. I have 35 years to go. Remember that yesterday is closer than tomorrow. Always, that's how life is. When I ask you 2010, where was, it was just yesterday. It happened yesterday. But when I tell you 2030, you will say it's too far away. Why are you talking about 2030? That's how a human being is made. So you who need to really be a good financial planner must stop and say, no, I must think that 2030 is as closer as 2010 was. You get it? So that you start telling yourself that in the next 10 years, I will have done my first 10 years. In the next 10 years of that, I will have done my next 20 years. And therefore, I'll be preparing to exceed the stage. So the first 10 years must be a very critical stage of managing your first check and asking yourself, how much money should I put aside? And maybe just talk a little bit general about personal finance. You must do a lot of saving in the first 10 years to be able to manage your next 10 years and the last 10 years. And then, of course, in retirement, you must do a huge level of savings, both in circles, both in shares, both in bonds, if you can. But at that stage, I encourage people in the first 10 years, do a lot of stockpiling. Get your stock portfolio, do a lot of savings in stocks, do a lot of savings in shares, in SACCO, but do a lot of saving in your pension plan. Because the first 10 years, you may not have a lot of responsibilities as the ones you're going to have in the next 10 years. So the first 10 years, do a lot of parking of your money in a pension scheme, in a SACCO, and in shares. Why shares? Because they are long-term. They are long term. You will be able to use them in the next 10 or the next 30 years when at that particular time they will have grown, they will have capital appreciation will have actually been born. So the critical bit is that you must always save a minimum of 15% of your savings in a retirement benefit scheme. If you have an employer putting aside for you 10%, you're putting aside 5%, that's good enough. But it's always good to utilize your maximum tax advantage that is given to you by KRA. Yeah, because they don't give them for free. They don't give them for just because they like you. They even do not want you to utilize them. But you must always make sure that you have utilized your maximum 20,000 shillings per month, which is given to you tax-free. So if your 15%, which is your employer and employer contribution, is less than 20,000 Kenya shillings per month, please put in what we call additional voluntary contributions to utilize your whole 20,000. Because every 20,000 shillings you put in a retirement benefit scheme, KRA does not tax you at all. So if you have 100,000 Kenya shillings as your salary, and you are paying 20,000 in a retirement benefit scheme, it means that your taxable pay is not 100,000. Your taxable pay is 80,000 Kenya shillings. So can you imagine how much money you will have saved in terms of tax? And that is continuously until you retire the next 40 years. So if you are not in a retirement benefit scheme, you are losing that tax advantage. That money is supposed to be given to you by KRA or by government for free. You are losing that money every time you are not saving in a retirement benefit scheme. Now, every time you are leaving a part of that, when you think that you should not make an additional voluntary contributions, you are not saving at all in terms of tax. So you must always save in a retirement benefit scheme because of tax. If you are already saving in a retirement benefit scheme, one thing I always encourage people to do is that you have an occupational scheme. Let's say you have a company which has provided for an occupational scheme. You should always have a side plan for a personal pension plan. A personal pension plan is where you just open one, walk into Octagon Personal Pension Services Limited, you will open one account, personal pension plan, which can help you to save on the side. Now, while you are saving on the side, you're saving on the side for rain things. For example, you need education for your children. You may need to go back to school. So you don't have to touch your money. You don't have to. I have seen employees leaving a company just because they want to access their pension to go back to school. That is a very bad decision, a very bad financial decision to make. Why are we making that decision? And in most cases, you make that decision in the second 10 years of your lifetime because you want to go back to school. And you do not save enough money in your first 10 years of your lifetime, of your working life. So the first thing you must do is that the first 10 years, please make sure you pack your money as much as possible. If you are in a retirement benefit scheme, the small amounts you make, if you start early, you will make small amounts. If you start late, you will have to make a large sum of money to be able to provide you a good pension in retirement. Because what is a good pension in retirement? A good pension in retirement is 67% of your retirement income. So if your retirement income, if your last salary in your working life at the age 60th birthday, your last salary is 1 million Kenya shillings per month. You're supposed to be drawing a pension of 670,000 Kenya shillings. If your salary is 100,000, you're supposed to be drawing a pension of 67,000 Kenya shillings. For you to draw a pension of 67,000 Kenya shillings, you will require 6.7 million or 7 million shillings to be able to draw a pension of 67,000 Kenya shillings. So the question you should ask yourself is that, will I have enough money to live on in retirement? 67% of my salary at retirement. That's what we call enough money. So the first 10 years, you must do a lot of savings. The second 10 years is where you are looking at what we call midlife financial planning. Because the second 10 years, which is 35 to 45, all of us go through what we call midlife crisis. And midlife crisis, whether you like it or not, you think you're not going through, all of us go through it. Now, if you go through a social midlife crisis and you have a financial midlife crisis, all of them converge on you, you are completely dead. So for you to manage your social, your financial midlife in 35 to 45, you should have planned properly well. You should have saved enough money in the first 10 years. And you know, when you get to 35 towards 45, you are looking at changing your career. You are looking at improving your skills. You need money. You are looking at changing your career. You are looking for a new job. You are looking at going back to school to learn another skill. You are looking at your parents aging. They need medical care at that particular time. Your children are getting into school. You need money to go to school. So all these things converge onto you. And you find most people break down between 35 to 45. If you can survive 35 to 45, my brother, you are out of the woods. But most people have that as a rate determining stage. So which means that you should have enough savings to help you go through that very particular stage. You should have had enough planning, which means that you have saved quite some good money in your pension scheme, aside of a personal pension plan, which you can be able to access quickly. You should have done some savings in your circle. You should have done some savings in shares. Don't start your life, young people, by getting into buying cars that will gulp all the money in your pocket. Go to a pub and buy for everybody in a bar. If you save 1,000 Kenyan shillings per month, you will, in the next maybe about 20 to 25 years, you have something like about 3 to 4 million Kenyan shillings, roughly. Now, 1,000 shillings, you go to a pub and you buy 3 beers and they are gone. And I'm sure that will just be a warm-up. Then you have to go to the last stage where you have to spend another 5,000 Kenyan shillings. So one of the things you must purpose is that you must set aside a percentage of your money for savings, and savings, part of the savings must be for retirement. The second stage of your life, you must manage your debt, because managing debt will help you to make sure that you are not touching your savings for your retirement. So you don't quit your job to be able to access your pension just because you have gotten into a debt trap, you know, which most of us are getting involved in. So you borrow too much. I have a friend of mine who borrowed too much, but just borrowing to buy plots. So you borrow to buy plots, which is a good decision to do, but you can't buy the whole world until you have no cash for yourself, you have no cash to save for retirement, you have no cash to save for your school fees for the children. So you end up getting into a cash trap. You must know that always cash is king. Is king in your life. Yeah. Now, Grace, you must tell me when I'm getting out of time. I can talk until the God's get back. So one of the things you must understand is that when you start working, the money that you're earning, part of it will be the money that you will earn when you will not be working at retirement. So when you will not be working after retirement. So one thing you must always purpose, those ones who are working, who are running businesses, who are running enterprises, please know that an enterprise, when you're running an enterprise, you are actually earning an income. So part of your revenue that comes out of your enterprise, put it aside for pension. Because at age 60, at age 70, you will not be able to run the business you are running today. And yet, you require an income in retirement, you know, to be able to live on. Because in retirement, medical care becomes critical. You need to eat well to be able to live longer. You need to travel to be able to live longer. These are things that you need to do to help you live longer. But they are not cheap. They come with money, with a cost that is attached to them. And therefore, who is going to fund that cost? One, don't think your children will fund the cost. They will not. I mean, the generation they're going to be working in Australia, and when you try to call, mteja hapatikani. And you are supposed to be admitted in hospital very quickly, you know, and you send an email, it doesn't come back. I'm hoping my internet is okay. They're telling me it's unstable.
Yeah, it was a bit, you disappeared for a minute.
Okay, sorry for that.
Go on.
So what I was saying is you must plan for retirement because you need money in retirement. You need to put aside some part of your income that you earn today, whether you are running a business or whether you're in formal employment. You must put aside some money to be able to take care of your retirement at a particular time. Now, so the second stage of your life, which is the 35 to 45, is what we call midlife financial crisis. Midlife financial crisis. Debt management becomes critical. When I run a program for that age group, I run a program that we call debt management to help you manage debt so that you don't touch your pension. Because what we have discovered is that we are letting you to start saving for retirement. When you get to 40 years, you come and say, Freddie, I need to access that money because my house is being sold. I need to access that money because my child has to go to school. So I find myself in a position where I must just allow you to access the money because in a personal pension plan, which means that I need them to look at your whole financial environment and ask myself, what is ailing you? It's not necessarily saving. What is ailing you is getting into debt and getting trapped into debt. So 35 to 45, you need to manage your debt. You need to make sure that you are on top of debt. And when you get to 45, of course, you must start planning for retirement. You must start asking yourself, what is it that I'm going to do in the next 10, 15 years? Because once you get 45, I tell people that you reach there, you feel, oh, I have reached, I am now there, because you are through the midlife crisis and you accept. I always tell people that even your spouse in the house, you start accepting this one is now mine. You're not going to go to another one. You have been here for 20 years. So let us just stay. Let us just, grow each other into old age, because it's a stage of settlement. It's where you start seeing people adding weight around age 45. Because the mind starts settling. Now, when you start settling, you start asking yourself, I must start planning for the next 10 to 15 years. Because remember, at age 45, in the next 5 years, if the company has to do retrenchment, you are number one on the list. So which means you must be asking yourself at 45, in the next 5 years, if I retired, can I actually do something substantial with my money, with my life going forward? So which means you are asking yourself, at 50 years, can I access my money? What are the options I have at that particular moment? If I access, where do I need to put this money to be able to give me a better income? Do I need an annuity? Do I need an income drawdown? Do I need just cash so that I can go for a holiday? All these options must start coming to bear at around age 45 to age 50, because that's the age that you need to start looking at retirement. Then, of course, you are also trying to plan an exit strategy. You are looking at things like children's school fees and asking yourself, what have I done to make sure that my children's school fees is taken care of if you are a late bloomer in terms of marriage? Yeah, so these are things that you need to look at in terms of planning for retirement. But very critical, please make sure that you at least 15 to 25% of your money is put aside in savings. 15% of it will go towards pension. If you utilize all your tax advantages at a particular time, save in a retirement plan that is registered with Retirement Benefits Authority, because that will make sure that there is safety around it. You have an administrator like Octagon Pension Services, you have a fund manager, you have a custodian, so the assets are safe. That's very critical in terms of saving for retirement. Thank you very much.
I have had you with the 15%. Before we take in the audience questions, I wanted to ask, with the Kenyan low-income earners, how are they able to save up for retirement? What can they do?
Now, there is what you call low-income earners. I know we have low-income earners, but I always say that everybody's a low-income earner. There's
Come again? We lost you a bit.
Okay, sorry. Everybody's a low-income earner, because if I asked you, if you earn 100,000 shillings, Grace, and I earn 10,000 Kenya shillings, if I asked you have enough money, you say, no, I don't have enough. So money is never enough. Money is never enough. Can you get me?
Yes, now I can. Money is never enough.
Money is never enough. So
Yes.
you can never say, I have a lower income. In fact, people use that as an excuse never to save.
Yes.
When you
Yes.
come out of the university, you are given a salary, maybe a starting pay of 50,000 shillings. And you say, it's too little, right? If I have to pay rent, transport, food, I can't save. When you are given an increment of 60, it's not enough. 80, 100 is not enough. So money is not enough. It's never enough. The thing is that you must purpose and say, if I'm earning 10,000 Kenya shillings, I must save 100 shillings. Let me tell you one thing is that if you purpose, you earn 10,000 Kenya shillings. You purpose every day, you are putting in a box 10 shillings in a box, 10 shillings in a box. At the end of the month, you have put 300 shillings. Now, 300 shillings, when you're earning 10,000, it's just good enough to put in a retirement benefits plan. Start somewhere. And it becomes a culture. It becomes a culture. Because if you don't start it, it's not a culture.
Yes.
Look at looking at the church. You know, I am a Christian. And what happens is that you are required to pay tithe. So what happens is whatever income you earn, please take a percentage towards saving for retirement and create a culture around it. So it's not just the amount, it is the culture of doing it. It's the culture of doing it. You know, I developed a culture with my wife for saving 100 shillings every day we come back in the house. You put in a box which you cannot be able to break.
Yes.
Even if you are broke.
Yes.
So at the end of the month, you have 3,000 shillings. 3,000 shillings in the stock market, you can be able to buy a couple of shares. In a year, how many shares will you have bought?
Quite a number.
Absolutely.
3,000 per month,
It's a culture. So please save whatever income you have. You should be able to save something.
So let me ask you, Fred, what are the highlights? Like how can we help ourselves and our listeners develop a spending and financial planning culture? What are some 2 points you can give us?
One of the things which is everybody wonders how it can happen, but one of the things for you to develop, when I advise guys who are in debt, they have gone completely dead, and to a point of death. Some guys come and say, I want to commit suicide because I cannot transmit.
Yes.
The only way to manage your finances is starting by a budget. It is critical. I tell people that every organization, Grace, your own Atara Solutions, you can never start January up to March, up to April. Then you ask, have we done a budget? No. You do budgets even before the year comes. And who does the budget? It's you and me, individuals. Yes. But yet we don't do a budget for this corporation called Fred Waswa. So we must. Yes. What I'm saying is that all of us, every organization we work for, must have a budget. You can never have an organization. You have never been in a company, worked in a company where they tell you, here we don't do budget. We just operate. We work. Is there one like that? Doesn't exist.
No.
But who prepares budgets? Is individuals. Me and you, Grace, we prepare budgets for organizations.
Yes.
But do we ever sit down to prepare a budget for this organization called Fred Waswa and Grace?
Once in a while, yes.
That's right.
Yes.
So if you have a culture of budgeting, then you will know where your money comes from, you know where your money goes to, and you can stop or continue or increase to where it goes to. You can increase to where it's coming from.
Yes.
But most of us, which is, 70% of us never do budgeting anyway. We get our money and we say, but after all, it's little, so we don't budget.
Yes.
But the first thing is that you must learn to budget your income. That will help you in managing financial planning.
Yes. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask is, the people who are the people we are losing between the age of 35 to 45 on midlife crisis. What is the one thing that, besides budgeting, besides being intentional, what is the other thing they can do?
Of course, the other thing they can do is to just increase income.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Create new sources of income. I mean, you know, you cannot just have one line of income. You must have a M-Pesa shop. Why are you doing that? To increase sources of income. Because when you increase your sources of income, then they can help you manage your debt.
Yes.
That's all. Or you increase your sources of income by getting a promotion where you're working, or getting a new job where you can get a higher income. So these are things that can be on the table in terms of options. But there's no two way around it. It's increased sources of income. Otherwise, you stop living, and then there's no cost. There's no cost to that. Yeah.
Okay, now on to the audience questions. Jeremy Nganga is asking, what happens to those who utilize SACCOs that are mismanaged? Almost all public anchored SACCOs have been mismanaged.
Yeah, I think that is the undoing we have had for ourselves as a nation, is that we have had such a vibrant SACCO movement in this country. And each one of us has benefited from these SACCOs, but the management of SACCOs has been infiltrated by corruption issues, and therefore badly managed. You must just look for a SACCO that is a bit better managed. Maybe you can influence management or something like that to make sure that you can have a place you can save. Because we can do that. I mean, I have seen people moving from SACCOs of universities to Mwalimu SACCO, you know. So people moving from one SACCO to another just because they are unsure of the stability of SACCOs. One other place you can also do is to have an investment club. So, which means that you have a club that you can easily loan to each other. Yeah, you can easily loan to each other. You know each other. You can trust each other, because that's the critical bit. SACCOs is just basically about trust, and it's about ability to be able to repay your loans. So even in that investment club, you could also do that level of management of savings and access to credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Monica Karanja is asking, on retirement, will my contribution, employer contribution, and AVC be lumped together to provide a bigger sum than I can use and buy another product like an annuity?
Yes. You see, what happens is that when you are saving, let's say you are an employer, you are in employment, you are saving 5%, employer saving 10%, for example. So at retirement, when you come to retirement, you have raised an amount of about 10 million Kenya shillings for that example. Now, there are two types of schemes. There's what we call a defined contribution provident fund and a defined contribution pension scheme. A defined contribution provident fund is where your 10 million will be given to you less tax. So as cash, you have that option of taking it away and go and do whatever you want to do. A defined contribution pension scheme is where the 10 million, you can only access a maximum of 1/3, you know, and 2/3 must be used to buy a pension. Now, what do we mean by buying a pension? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
Well, yeah, what we mean by buying a pension is that what retirement, you have options, and the Retirement Benefits Authority has allowed the operators in the market to provide for options. One of the options is an annuity. You can buy an annuity, which in exchange of your money, you are given a promise of a monthly income for life. Yeah, you can also decide to buy what you call an income drawdown fund. I mean, an income drawdown for yourself. So you take your money, put in an income drawdown fund, and in exchange, they promise you a monthly income, the percentage that you have chosen. You can choose either 15%, maximum 15%, or 10% or 12%, whichever that you have been advised to be able to choose. And that is a minimum of 10 years. That's an income drawdown, normally is a minimum of 10 years. So those are the two options that you can go for in terms of access of a pension at retirement using your money that you have saved.
Yeah. Excellent. We're really learning today. Alex Gabriel. Oh, hi, neighbor. What happens if for some reason the 10 years before 35 to 45, they lacked proper financial planning? Is there hope to recover?
So if you did not, okay, I always say one thing is that if you saved enough in the first 10 years, you did not just use your money to eat mandazi and everything else and chips and finished it. So in the first 10 years, if you saved enough money, in the next 10 years, the impact will be less. If in the first 10 years you do not save enough money, the next 10 years, the impact will be heavy. But you have an opportunity to recover, and that's why I said in the next 10 years, because then you are under tight condition of costs coming towards you. You must start looking for better, higher income, looking for sources of income, increasing sources of income, so that you can be able to recover. So that's when you look at people saying, look, I'm quitting the job, going into business. Now business is about risk. You can either make it or lose it. But if you make it, you have increased your income, and therefore you manage your costs. Or decide to go and look for a higher paying job. Usually it's a good thing, but as I have learned in my life, is that the higher the salary, the higher the expenses. So you move to a higher house. You sell a slower one and go and buy a bigger house. That's how life is. So you find yourself increasing your costs as your income is going up. So you must be very frugal in your management of your money. Very frugal in the management of your money. Yes.
I hear you, Fred. So Lucy Muchemi is asking how to save in the business. If you're an entrepreneur, how do you develop a culture of saving?
Okay. I always say, when you are an entrepreneur, first of all, when you've started business, I've done business for the last 20, maybe 22 years or something like that. One of the things that you must do is that you must pay yourself. You must have a salary. You must have an income for yourself from the business. Yes. So the business income is not your income. Are we going to, yeah, the business is your income. So you must provide an income. So in your profit and loss, there is salary. Salary to who? To yourself. And that salary to yourself, part of that percentage goes towards saving for retirement. So that you also get tax advantages, for that very particular saving. So provide yourself with an income from your business. And out of that income, pay contributions into a retirement benefit plan.
So you hear, my fellow entrepreneurs, the business money is not your money. Pay yourself a salary and then save from that.
That's the best way to run a business.
Yes. Akinyi is asking, hi Fred, good insight on pension. How do I access my previous pension and convert it to personal pension? What's the procedure?
What you need to do is you walk into any organization. Octagon Africa is the best place, the best canal to get an opportunity to be able to sell for. Walk into Octagon Africa, open a personal pension plan. Once you have opened a personal pension plan, go to your employer or wherever your money is and tell those trustees that you want to transfer your money to Octagon personal pension plan. RBA requires that in 30 days, that money should be transferred and saved in your personal pension plan. It's a very, very simple process. If you open a personal pension plan with us, we will help you in the transfer process so you don't have to run around in terms of transfer process.
Okay, all right. So there's someone else who is asking, oh wait, the same Liz is asking, how do you deal with short-time contracts of 2 to 3 years and pension saving?
Oh, fantastic. I tell people that you can have short-term contracts until you retire. So you're gonna have 3-year contracts, for the next 30 years. So 10 contracts. And you know what happens with contracts? They give you a thought and a mind that I will get a permanent job. So you get a contract, you renew. When I get a permanent job, I'll start saving. When I get a permanent job, I'll start saving. There's nothing called permanent job. Whatever job you have, hata kama wewe unafanya ile kazi ya mkono, that income you have, when you're earning 700 shillings a day, set aside some 70 shillings for savings. Very critical things. So when you are in a contract, most contracts give what you call gratuity. Now, that gratuity is actually your pension. Ukikula, if you eat that gratuity, you have actually eaten your pension. Now, most people eat all that gratuity until they get to 45, they discover they have eaten all the gratuity. Now they decide, now I need to start saving. You must save a lot of money at 45 to be able to get a good pension in retirement. So my sister, if you are in a contract, gratuity out of that contract should go to a pension. If you don't have gratuity, take 30% of your money, the contract sum, that's supposed to be your pension at retirement. So you should be able to save that across away as a retirement pension planning.
Okay. There's a recurring question that has been asked by about 3 people. So they are asking, up to how much is one able to access on their pension before retirement? This has been asked by about 4 people. Okay.
The law allows you to access your own portion if you are in what we call an occupational scheme, which is an employer scheme. You save, the employer saves for you. You are allowed to access your own contribution plus interest that has been accumulated on it, and 50% of the employer benefit and interest that has been accessed to it. So that's the maximum you can access if you change jobs between in your employment. But we are always telling young people, please don't access that money, because when you access, you are reducing the amount you will access at retirement. Because imagine you're only leaving 50% your savings. So when you get to retirement, you have a small amount of money. It can't purchase 6-7% of your salary at retirement. Please don't access. If you really want to access, start saving additional voluntary contribution. So when you want to access, you access your additional voluntary contribution, not the mandatory contributions in your scheme. That will really help you out on that. Now, maybe I can just be able to go back on that question on graduate, on contracts. Yes. Now, the contract staff, the people who are on contract staff, you can actually walk into a personal pension plan and sign up for a personal pension plan. And then tell your employer to send contribution direct to the personal pension plan. That way you get your tax advantage at source at payroll level. So you don't lose out your tax advantages on payroll level. And then just to mention that.
Okay, thank you for the clarity. Arnold Chenge is asking a very, very important question, and I think it's very relevant for even our normal audience. Investing in a business versus saving for retirement. Which is better if my finances cannot support both?
Of course, investing in a business is good because you are putting in money to be able to make money. And my understanding is that when you invest in business, you'll get an income. When you get an income, you should be able to save for retirement. But you cannot permanently invest in business. That's my understanding. Is that you cannot start at 25, invest in business, at 30, you invest in business, at 40. No, if you invested in business at 25, at 30, it should give you some return so that you can be able to invest in a pension plan. So we cannot have the illusion that we are running a business so that we cannot save for retirement. Let me tell you one thing is this. I tell people on Moy Avenue, if you walk on Moy Avenue in January, the names of businesses you see in January are different from the names of businesses you see in December. Because sustainability of businesses is not there. You will see 70% of the businesses don't survive the first anniversary.
Yes.
So that tells you that if you have your money and you want to put some money at least in a savings plan. So which means that when the business doesn't do very well, you can have a fallback position. If COVID came and wiped out your revenues, you can go back to the savings plan. Very important.
And then Wilfred Thuo is asking a question which has also been asked by someone else. For those of us who are in the 45 to 60 category and have not saved much, what options do we have?
Very limited options. And I should say that to be able to scare the ones who are 25 to 30 so that they can save more, they need to save more. But the options you have basically at 45, if you are around 45, you can still increase your contributions in your pension plan to cover up the less saving that you did in the earlier stages. But then too also, you must then start looking at other sources of revenue. Because I always say that if you haven't saved much in a pension plan, you have used your money to do something different. Unless you use your money to buy sofa sets in the house, things that depreciate. But if you used your money to buy an appreciating asset, for example, you used your money to buy a plot, you didn't save your money in the pension scheme, you went and drew your money from the scheme and you bought a plot. The plot has appreciated at retirement. You can sell the plot and buy a pension. Mm-hmm. Now, I know somebody will ask me a question, why would you sell a plot and buy a pension? Yes. I can do that. The plot doesn't give money. So you must either build on it to get an income, rental income, or sell it and buy a pension. Because that is an asset that you can use to be able to access part of your retirement planning.
In fact, you've answered that because James Mwangi is asking, what of an investment plan where you invest in assets that can give you passive income, e.g. rental houses?
Absolutely. It is good to have income coming from rental. But when I advise people who are retiring at normal retirement age, I tell them that you should always have three sources of income. One is rental income, some rental income because we are Africans, we believe in having some money, going to tell somebody, please pay me rent. You get it? So we need some assets that can give us income in rental income. Two, you need to have an income from fixed income assets, like bonds, like not necessarily equities. At retirement, get away from equities. So fixed income asset, bonds, or unit trusts that are fixed income. And lastly, but most important, a pension. Why? It's because rental income will not drive you all the way to death. Two, rental income can be disinherited. Children can go to court and say, this old man has stayed far too long. We need these houses for ourselves to live on. The court will disinherit you of those houses and give us an inheritance to your children. A fixed asset that gives you fixed income can be disinherited. A pension cannot be disinherited. You die with it. So a pension is a critical income, and a pension you walk into a wall and draw money without thinking. Rent, COVID-19 can come and your tenants are not able to pay rent, but that is your pension. What happens? What happens if that's your pension? You will have no income. Now in retirement, you need money to buy medicine to keep you going. You need money to eat food. You need money to see your grandchildren, that can make you live longer. So these things require money, and money that does not give you stress. So you reduce stress by spreading your risk and making sure one of it is a monthly pension that will take you to the age of 90 and plus.
Excellent. 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 I think you've answered a question that has been asked more than 10 times. And just for the sake of common mwananchi, Lily is asking, can NSSF deduction be considered a pension plan?
I like that. Yes, it can be considered as a pension plan, but how much is it, my sister? How much is it? we save, you as an employee saves 200 shillings in NSF. The employer saves 200 shillings, 400 bob per month. If you save that 400 bob per month, and you know it doesn't increase, it's a static amount. It doesn't grow with your salary. If you save that for the next 30 years, you may get back 800,000 Kenya shillings. In the next 30 years, 800,000 shillings with inflation will buy a pair of shoes in Bata. So you come from NSSF, you walk into Bata, you buy a pair of shoes, and your money is gone. So it is about, how much are we saving? I mean, we just talked about it. You only retire when you have money to retire on. Otherwise, you can't retire. So NSF is good, but is it adequate? It's not adequate. Yes.
Okay. This is becoming interesting. We have it's 8:54 now. We are almost finishing. But James Ngunjiri is asking, what is the age limit for early retirement?
Early retirement is at 50.
Okay.
Or as provided for in the trust deed of your pension scheme, but it's usually age 50.
Okay. And then Jeremy Nganga is asking, how do you guard pension against inflation, including hyperinflation?
Pension, first of all, is if it's still in the saving, you are saving the funds that have been invested by the fund managers. They are spread in terms of risk and in terms of guarding against inflation. And that's why you find you'll not get your money that is in a pension scheme all invested in bonds or all invested in equities or all invested in properties. There are percentages that have been spread. So why is because there are certain assets that will give us returns that will surpass, that will beat inflation. Like for example, equities and sometimes properties. So you find pension schemes are spread in property, they are spread in equities, they are spread in bonds to ensure that you have an income that comes through, but also you can be able that you get returns that are past inflation. I tell people that you can't be saying I have a pension plan when you are taking money and putting in a savings account, in a bank savings account, because the return is always less than inflation. So which means that at retirement, you will not have enough money to buy what you need to buy.
Okay. There's another, I think, very important question that we really need to address. The listener is asking, do we have pension schemes and annuities that are denominated in hard currencies?
I know that we have annuities from foreign countries, but not much sold here. Not much sold here. There are insurance companies, especially in the UK, who have tried to market the annuity products that are unit-linked, UK unit-linked products. Those can be good products to buy, but sometimes they can be a bit expensive. So, and also the issues of currency exchange risks that exist when the currency goes the other way around. So most people will always want to have a pension bought in a currency where they are living in, because that's where you are going to spend your money. Now, if you buy pension I know you want to buy pension in US dollars, which can be a good thing, because then when the Kenya shilling depreciates, then you have a very strong position, but we can also have the Kenya shilling appreciate. We are going to get better economies as Africa, and our economies will get better. But we don't have a lot of those products in the market.
Okay, and as we conclude, Michael Kinyanjui was asking about debt. If you check the Atara Solutions YouTube channel, you'll find a session we had with Roy, who took us through debt management. However, you can still reach out to Fred and also Roy. They can also guide you on the debt part and the lifestyle management. But he's also asking, can I choose to increase my NSSF contribution?
Yes, you can. NSSF accept additional voluntary contributions.
Good, because we are rushing. Christine
Okay.
Moeni, what happens when I sign up for an individual pension plan and later get a permanent job that has a pension scheme? Can I continue with both plans?
No, it is always advisable to transfer that into your occupational pension plan, because then the employer may not make contributions to the personal pension plan unless you do it, but it's not tax exempt. You know, an employer will not be able to do into two schemes that are tax exempt. That's always a challenge. Yeah.
Okay. Shirley Shiko, I think Fred answered the issue about taking a mortgage and spending most of your income there. Or should I ask, would you like to answer this?
Ask it, yes. Ask
what
it.
do you think about taking mortgage? Rent is such a high recurring income and spends most of our income.
Yes, I mean, it's good to take a mortgage and buy a house. But you know, then you look at it and ask yourself, what is it? Can you get money and buy and build rather than get a mortgage? Sometimes mortgages can be very, very imprisoning. You know, you are basically tied in for a long period. You will want to prefer to go and get money, buy a plot, and then raise some funds, build a house or something like that. I know the question will be, I may want to live where I want to live. So I don't want to go and live in Kajiado just because I have to buy a plot in Kajiado to be able to afford it. Then you make a decision to buy a mortgage. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to buy a mortgage.
Okay. Yeah. And our listeners, I know you're growing impatient. Let us just take the last question, which is by Rose Odundo. Which is better, drawdown or annuity approaching retirement? How much is taxed?
Now, first, let me handle the area of tax, because it basically applies on both. Is that your pension is not taxed to the extent of 25,000 Kenya shillings per month. Anything above that is taxed at pay-as-you-earn rates.
Yes.
But it's only taxed up to age 65. After 65, you have a free pension. That's how taxation works.
Oh.
Which one is better? I think both are better. Both are better. It all depends on your level of risk. Because the income drawdown, the risk is you. You are holding the risk. The assets, if the assets don't do very well, then you best cannot get a good income. Now, an annuity, you hand over the risk to the insurance company. The insurance company promises you to pay you a certain amount of money. If you have 10 million Kenya shillings, they'll tell you, we will pay you 100,000 shillings per month. Whether they are making money or not, that is their business. But end of the month, I must get my 100,000. So the risk is theirs. And an income drawdown, the risk is yours. So depending on the level of risk profile you have, both of them are good products for you to use.
Wow. Fred, this is so excellent. I'm really, we must have you back. I hope you will come back and shed more light. I am so sorry, our audience, that we are not able to take all your questions, but we've tried to cover as much as possible. For those who are asking more than 2 questions, we have tried to give everyone a chance so that we can reach out to their needs. But we can have Fred once again. Thank you very much. That was very insightful. We thank you, Fred, and the whole Octagon team. Thank you, Zalego Academy, our IT partners. Special appreciation to the board of Atara Solutions. You guys have been so excellent. Thank you, GGW, for the support. I don't know what I'll do without you. Thank you very much, our audience, for tuning in tonight. It's always a pleasure. We would like to call upon you for feedback on what you'd like us to discuss in the days to come. So kindly, when we send you the questionnaire, please try and respond as honest as possible. Do not forget to tune in to Pearl Radio 96.9 FM in Nairobi. Again, Pearl Radio 96.9 FM in Nairobi. My name is Grace Nzula from Atara Solutions, and I have been your host. Please like our Facebook page, Atara Solutions. Follow us on Instagram, Atara Solutions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Atara Solutions. For those who are asking where they can get this recording, it shall be uploaded on our YouTube channel within the week, probably by Friday or Saturday. Kindly subscribe and click the notification button, and all our new uploads will be shared with you. See you next week, same time, same place, as we look at using social media to build your brand and close sales, otherwise known as online selling. From all of us, it's good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.